Trying to make a rollout wheel, and I found this thing at the junkyard. I don't know what it came off of, but this is 1/2 inch fine, 1/2 by 20. These are 12 by 1.5 randomly. But so I got that. I made this pivot. All it is a piece of steel with these circlips, and then I'm going to be welding this center section. This is a piece of stainless 2-inch bar. Weld the center section to this. Weld the 2 outer sections to this stainless plate. And then I'm going to have this piece of all thread. These are 2 hardened washers. I still got to figure out how to make it, but that'll give me the fine adjust to level it out. It'll just butt against this. I'm going to get a piece of brass so it doesn't smash too hard. That'll give me the fine adjust here. But now I'm just trying to figure out how this is going to go into the trailer hitch, or this is going to be a trailer hitch or receiver. That's going to be the pin. So I'm going to weld these 2 to this, punch a hole through here, have a hole through here, and I'd like it to be sitting on this bar for vertical, so that this is sitting vertical. It's going to have a trailer hitch pin through here, and then it's going to pivot up for your, I guess it's mostly going to be in this direction, horizontal, so that your chuck is horizontal. And then I'd like to go a little bit, be able to go a little bit further down, you know, in case you're parked on a hill or something like that. But I'm just trying to figure out exactly where to punch this hole. I think if I got a piece of cardboard and drew the 2 pivots out, wherever they intersect is where I want to put the hole, but my brain's not working. So I think I want it to be down a little bit, not out here, because then when you pivot it, it's going to be hanging out just way up there. I think I want it to be kind of like there when it's vertical, and then I got to get the proper pivot point so that it rests flat on this piece when it's in the upright position. So just gonna do some thinking. I'll punch the hole in this, and then I'll stack these 2 together, punch the hole in there, and then drill a hole in this one, and then put these at the right angle or whatever. Weld, weld, weld. No weld on the inside, because that's where this is going to sit. And then I gotta weld my pivot on. It's gotta be perpendicular. Anyway, so we'll figure that out, and then we'll show you what we get. Show you what starts happening. I just put a dot where I thought I would want the pivots. Figured out which pivot I wanted, or where I wanted the pivot point. Put a dot there, and then I just kind of went through the rotation, keeping the pivot point in the same spot, and figured out where I wanted it. And then I'll show you how to get the same hole on both sides. Pause. Yeah. And then I took a Sharpie and just made a line crossing that spot. To get the height, I just used a pair of cheap calipers. Get close in here. And then just scribe a line. I went on the square, touching there, and then just scribed a line there. And then the same thing on this side. I just take a Sharpie and black out where you want it, and then you can scribe the line, and then drill through one side, drill through the other side, and should be good. Put a punch mark right where you want it. And then this is stainless steel, so it work hardens. So you want your drill bit to be really sharp. You want to be cutting, not spinning, otherwise it'll work hard and you'll never get through it. Also, I I think the speeds and feeds is go slow while pushing real hard. Holes, in all three pieces. I've got the seam on the far side because I think it, I don't know, it'd help a little bit in tension. Same with this, I got the seam on the top. So make sure these two plates are oriented correctly. Kind of figure out where you want it back and forth wise. Thinking about there. And then, well, I like to go a little bit more tilt down before it hits. I have it so it hits there. So just move this forward slightly. Right about there. Looks perfect. So then make sure that's down flush. Push these all down and then tack them. Tack them 3 spots or whatever, and then everything should line up when you're done welding. Okay. Alright, so I haven't started this machine since yesterday, so I'm going to hit it with like 5 seconds of glow plugs, which is go left for go left, wait 5 seconds, then go right to start it. And I'm running an 1/8 inch 308 rod, so I'm going to run about 85 amps on the 7018 stick setting. And then it'll probably blow a puff of blue smoke out the tailpipe, and it's the first time I started it in a day, so. Glow plugs. So for whatever reason, whenever I weld stainless, after a while the flux will chip off by itself and it'll go right in your eye, and it's really hot and painful. But that's the weld. That was the Ready Arc 302, 1/8 inch 308, 85 amps, and we'll just fully weld this out and then show you the product after a little bit. So I got this brass thing. I'm going to be calling this the fine pivot, and then that the major pivot. So if I want to be welding vertical or whatever, this in a vertical, I lay it all the way onto that, and then this is going to be my fine. So that nut is welded to there. That's just threaded onto there. So I'll weld a handle to this nut and then back this up and jam it, because if I weld a handle directly to this, I won't be able to take this apart ever again, and I might want to in the future. That'll be my fine pivot. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but just a fine pivot there. And then for the brake, which is what I'm working on right now, I'm gonna have, so this post will be welded to this plate, and then this little pivot arm will be welded to that post. I'm not sure, and then that little doodad is gonna be the brake. I don't know if I want to have it where these notches are cut out, or have it, it's hard to do one-handed, but I don't know where, if I want to have it riding on these notches or just above it on this flat section. I gotta leave a little bit of clearance for these studs to rotate around. But actually maybe on the, I put the pivot point to where it would ride on the smooth surface, but I think the notch might be kind of nice. So I'll try and see if I can get this done with one-handed. So that's going to be just free floating. That's where the pivot's going to be, like that. And then I still got to notch this out a bit more, or cope it out, I guess is what you'd say. weld that on there first, and then weld the pivot as up however high I want it to be. And then I'll have a handle right here, and it'll just teeter-totter. And then for the handle, I'm gonna weld this little lollipop together. Weld that around, and then I think if I weld two 1/2-inch stainless washers to that, and then slide that in, and then just peen that over just enough so it won't fall out, so then that way it'll be like kind of like this. So it'll be, instead of a solid, it'll be a washer, and then the all thread, and then a washer, and then this thing will be able to slide back and forth just like this, so that when I've got this is hard one-handed, that'll be there, and then I'll have washers on the top with that there, because if I made like a regular handle like I'm gonna have on this part, when I go vertical position or whatever, that's gonna be like that. So obviously I'm gonna have this in a receiver, so it's gonna be about here, and it'll be probably a 1/2 inch high, so that won't clear. But if I have it to where it's kind of like a vise handle, I can slide it, tighten it, slide it, tighten it, or whatever. Obviously up here it doesn't matter, I've got all the room I want, but in the vertical I might want to be welding and have it braked. So that's the idea anyway. This just tacked up the vertical piece, and then I put this the brake lever on. Just made sure everything was square and everything. I'm welding this with 16308 at 28 amps. One thing that I don't know about this machine, at least, when I'm real down low, like under 35 amps, when I come back off, the arc really, it takes a while for it to break. It's probably 1.5 inches or so to break the arc. So I'm just gonna weld this up, or tack it both sides. I was hoping to finish, or at least work on this a little bit, but I got another project I gotta finish. They had this at the store yesterday. They never have it there. Boy, oh boy. That's good. So today we're gonna work on building this little cabin here. So, been welding. My brother welded all these seams. So I think we gotta be welding this one. And there's a window going here. A couple seams there. One seam with a bigger gap there. And then these three. And these all have bigger gaps, so I think what I'm going to try and do is use 3/64 5356 wire, which I haven't used. I haven't used that stuff at all, so I just got a little piece of scrap to do some test runs on. I'll show you what that's all about. Under 4, and that gave me that one right there, so I'm gonna run that.